Hey drummers, hope you're well. Shout out to channel member Lucy, who was working on this last Friday. This is eighth notes with your left foot, assuming you're right-handed and right-footed, on the hi-hat. And this is when you play, a straightforward, in this case, a straightforward sort of straight eights, rock or pop type of feel. Over on the ride cymbal, something like this. And to accompany that and give a kind of stereo effect, we go left foot, playing all the same notes, right? So these are, if we count these as eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're going to play the same thing with our left foot. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Gives a really cool sound, I think. Gives you great texture. Gives you a kind of stereo effect. Both sides of the kit doing the same thing there, and it also gives you some nice options, I think, when you're playing your sort of in between the backbeat left stick notes. To whiz that left stick over, again if you're right-handed, to get the ps, ps. When you play a little upbeat 16th, you get an automatic little burst, a little open hi-hat sound, psh, psh, which is really cool. Now this video is mostly about building it up. We were talking about this, like I say, with Lucy. What I did, quite honestly, when I was first doing this, I think I was about 14 or 15 years old. I had an album called Stone Roses' Second Coming, amazing record. That was my favourite album for considerable amount of time, actually. And I don't know why it was side 2, but I'm the age where you had the tape and it had 2 sides. So the whole of side 2, I'd stick it on and I would just play this. And at first, I just found it really, really tricky, quite honestly. So what I did, I just started at the beginning. And I think this is, in my experience of doing this job, something that people miss out on or forget to do or overlook doing, and I certainly have done the thousands of times with everything, but man, this is such a huge thing. Start at the beginning. So let's just think about technique for a second. I'm not saying this is definitive, but what I do when playing the hi-hat in this fashion is I play heel up, a bit like I was playing on a bass drum. In fact, I'll demonstrate it on my bass drum here so you can clearly see. So imagine this is my hi-hat foot even. I play it as like a bouncing on the ball of the foot thing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and just like I would do with a bass drum. So nice loose leg, just bouncing along, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... I'm just pushing off from the ball of the foot, or maybe you could say the big toe each time. If I did it with both of my feet and I was standing up, I'd do a little hop. Like one, oh. I'd do like a, hold on. I'd do a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it's that kind of thing. I'm always wary of going too high and getting a bit out of control with it, and potentially even if you get too heavy, like it causes the hi-hats to separate too much. But then again, if you don't go too much, you don't get a very nice sound. So just a nice little hop. I think of it as if you did it on the ground like this. Your foot leaves the ground ever so slightly. So what I did was I put on side 2 of, you don't have to do this, by the way, just what I did, side 2 of Second Coming, Stone Roses. And at first I just did the left foot on its own, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I would say just do this at whatever speed you can. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And just get a feel for that, man. Just bouncing along in that fashion. That might take some time in its own right. It certainly did for me. I then remember distinctly adding in the ride cymbal only. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then even getting that to sit is going to take a whole lot of time and a whole lot of repetitions. So I'll just play songs and songs just like that, getting the feel for it. The next step, as and when you were ready, and that would be like several, like I say, I don't know, weeks maybe of playing that, in my case anyway. Then when you're ready, the snare drum backbeat, we could drop that in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... That might be several more repeats of the album, in my case, of second half. And then the bass drum on the 1 and the 3. And as you get confident with that, as the weeks and probably months, in my case, go by, you can then start to, play more of the same sort of stuff that you would play here. Over here. That's what I would do. I would play left foot on its own, bouncing along on the ball of the foot. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I then play the ride cymbal. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and add the snare. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Add the bass. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then get into your own variations. And it's a brilliant weapon to have, I reckon, in terms of just elevating your sound. Like you go to the ride cymbal, that's a great sound. Might even feel like often drummers will do this, won't they? They'll play the verse of a song, for example, on a hi-hat, and then go to the chorus or the bridge or a section where it kind of goes up a bit. They go to the ride for that sort of more open sound. Where do you go from there? Well, you add in something else. I would say left foot. Drummers even sometimes put a tambourine, don't they? Or something like that, some noise-making thing on top of the hi-hat to really sort of make that stand out even more. But man, even just the hi-hat on its own, it's a great sound. I think gives you great texture, gives you that lovely stereo effect. Go for it. I can't repeat enough that for me, it really was a process of going just left foot on its own, getting that to sit, adding in the ride cymbal, and they're talking about like playing that through the second half of an album several times with each phase. Just the left foot and the right stick, then adding in the snare, then adding in the bass drum. Like I say, shout out to channel member Lucy. Thanks for watching as always. And just a great weapon to have in your kit, man. And just to build up, in my opinion. Shout out to Lucy. See you soon. Cheers.